Good morning and welcome to Fat Cow Farm. Peter here. Now I've got some absolutely awesome news. Our 8-week period of like no rain and super hot temperatures has finally broken. And so over the last 2 weeks now, we've had 79 mil worth of rain. And as you can see behind me, it's actually turning green. I can't believe it. So what you see behind me has been 2 weeks. Now, as a part of that rain period that we've had, you know, we got 20 mil here and, 30 mil there and 10 mil there, 15 mil and so on and so on. But during those 8-week periods where we had nothing and the temperatures was just absolutely insane, high 30s, low 40s, we decided to start mulching. And because of that weather, and we had some high winds like what we've got now, we had trees falling over and all sorts of stuff. So what we decided to do was to bring in a fairly large chipper and break those down into, between 5 and 8 mil. And as a part of that mulching process, we've combined it with a lot of old blackberry canes and things like that. So it was a bit of a variety of mulch, but what we had here at the farm. And so what we were then doing is distributing this mulch, and like we spent weeks and weeks and weeks. And you might have noticed that the videos have been a bit shy. I wasn't quite ready to sort of post anything as a part of the mulching that we were doing, and I just wanted to see some effects. And as you can see behind me, this is what's happened, and it's absolutely fantastic. So what we were noticing is that in the mulched areas, obviously, the rain was being held up and sort of absorbed it back into that material, which then was pretty much used as a slow release moisture content for the grass or for the soils. And as a part of that, the response that the farmers had over these last 2 weeks has been absolutely insane. And like I'm now, right, we're certainly on the right path now. And so as you can see, the whole place has gone, from green, from basically a brown, dry, dusty, really sort of bad environment to be in. So I want to sort of do a bit of a yell out, and as a part of the rotational grazing, we kept to our guns, and we still kept on having the cows turn around by paddock by paddock by paddock, regardless if there was even grass there. We were feeding them where we're required, but we still keep that rotation kicking over. And the response has just been absolutely fantastic. Now, what I want to do is actually show you really what's been going on as a part of this growth, because there's a few things that have sort of come out unexpectedly. Is that firstly, we've got truckloads of clover. Like it's super early. That should be sort of towards the middle part of winter here. But I'm thinking because of that dry period, we've had that rain, all those subterranean seeds which have been sitting there waiting have now decided to come up, because the soil is still quite warm, but the evenings are dropping down in temperature. So we're sort of sitting at around about that 8-12 degree mark. So we've got lots of dew coming through. And at the moment, that's really what's starting to bind up all this life that's happening onto the soil. So let's go up and check out another spot. I'll show you all this growth that we've got, and we can go from there. So I'll see you soon. All right, so here we are, just a random section. And as you can see down, you can see all this growth that's starting to come through. And all these little shoots here and everything else is all clover. And we've got this now everywhere, and not sure where it's come from, but I'm dare saying that it's probably being seeds that have been blown off into the wind on previous seasons, and it's all just sitting basically under the soil, waiting for these conditions. Because of all the key lines that we put in, we've been heavily mulching throughout this whole area. The water's actually been able to stay within the farm. And I think also too is that we haven't had that massive downpours that we were really expecting, and we've had those light sort of rains come through, and everything's been able to be held up, and we haven't had the runoff or anything like that. And So really what's going on is that as the rains come in to settle, we've basically got 100% bonus from everything that's been working, that we've been working towards. Now I know that the cows are going to have a big smile on their face come about 3 or 4 weeks when this is just absolutely insane. We're currently in the sheep paddock, and so really what we've sort of been using the sheep as purely just a lawnmower, just to get some growth back in. Now they're just about to flick off into another paddock now, but the sheep have done a fantastic job just keeping everything really quite low. And so like I was saying is that this will now be rested. The next time someone comes in here will be the cows. So this has probably got about another 10 weeks now of rest, and we're just going to see what goes on. Now we've still got some really random weather events coming through where the days, like you wouldn't know it today, but you know, we're still in the high 20s, sort of just verging onto the 30s, and so what's happening is that we've got a lot of heat still in the soil, and everything is just going absolutely crazy. Now I have to sort of say, really what was going on over these 8 weeks was that I was almost really in a, not so much a point of despair, but I thought, wow, you know, like I really feel for farmers who have gone through droughts and things like that. Now we haven't gone through those sort of climate conditions yet, but it really starts putting in, you know, what do you do? What do you do? And we were sitting in the afternoons, you know, after being out in the paddocks, and the only thing that we can really do was mulch and protect the soils, waiting for that event to come through, or that these rain periods to come through. And I'm so glad that we did it, you know, and it, lots of long hours, lots of, you know, moments going, wow, what are we doing this for, and rah, rah. We also had the flail running with all the sticks and twigs and things like that. We were collecting them all and then just running the flail over them backwards and forwards, and distributing like that. So absolutely full on protecting our soils, and it was like parents looking after their children. There was no way I'm going to let, you know, all this wash away. No, I wasn't going to let it happen. And I'm just so stoked that it's actually, all this work is now paid off. So I would be expecting, like for us here, I would like another 20 to 30 mil, and then I'll start seeding out our perennial ryegrasses and fescues, ready for the winter crops really to kick in, and then we can start planning again from there. So that'll be the motions for us moving forward, because last year was a really bad winter for us as a part of feed. So we're going to change our mentality, and so rather than spending thousands of dollars on hay brought into the farm, we'll spend thousands of dollars in seed that we can hopefully get, you know, perennials should be, you know, anywhere between 3 to 5 years, something of the sort, and we get that consistent rollover. And then we're not spending so much, we're just putting it in areas where maybe it hasn't taken or something of the sort like that. So a lot of you would have seen the previous videos with our direct seed drill, and so really that was all a part of the experiments, ready to rock and roll. So it's all smiles here at Fat Cow Farm. I cannot believe it's actually broke, because it was pretty full on, I must admit. So for all about really protecting your soils in the harshest environments, getting the mulch down, protecting it from those big rain events, lucky enough it didn't happen for us, but having all that soil and topsoil washed down and actually start again, like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.